If you feel like you're doing everything and nothing is really enough, then this video is for you. People will always ask you, you should do this, you should join this, and you will probably feel special when they go to you and they're like, I think you're really suited for this, but don't let it get to your head and think about what's best for you. Today I just want to talk about what it's really like being a very ambitious student in Singapore. In my definition, when I say ambitious, I'm referring to trying to stack leadership positions. You run for everything, you join extracurriculars, competitions, many side quests, and you try to be the best at everything. I'll just be yapping about my experience. And if you guys have similar experiences, also just share it with me, because I feel like not enough is being said about this space of people trying really hard. Especially in a place like Singapore, it's very rat racy type of vibes. My school, before I went into NJC, was called Raffles Girls Primary School. For those of you that know Raffles Girls Primary School, you would know Raffles as a place that is very competitive and everyone has a stick up their ass, essentially. They would compare things like whose house is bigger, whose car is nicer, who drives the Rolls Royce. Actually, genuinely, I'm not lying. 7 to 12-year-olds would talk about what kind of house you live in. That's the nature of RGPS. In this school, I felt like I didn't have genuine friends. I started being really ambitious at 13. I got into National Junior College, integrated program school, through direct school admission. I got in by some miracle. Apparently the coach said that it was fate because I was the only one that smiled in the audition. So I got into National Junior College not by academic merit, but by extracurriculars, which I was not that fantastic in. In secondary school, I was like, you know what? This is it. I'm gonna make so many friends. So then I go and apply for many leadership positions. So I applied for class chair. I didn't get it. I proceeded to run for student council. And then I got into student council. Once I was in student council, I spent 1 year doing publicity related things alongside dance. And then I proceeded to run for student council president in secondary 3. And then I got vice president. So I was really happy. I was like, wow, I'm the shit lah, because I'm the vice president. Sure, there's a president, but I'm the vice president, you know, like, I'm the shit. And people will recognize me and stuff because I was vice president. It made me feel very happy, very seen, very respected, which are all nice feelings to have, honestly. So then by the time I was 15 years old, I was vice president of council, which comes with a boatload of responsibilities, by the way. So then by the time I was secondary 3, so 15 years old, I was in council. I had triple science. I took the same combi as everyone else with one extra elective. I was taking higher Chinese at the time and dance. Around this time, everything started to catch up to me, because how council works is every night there would be 2 to 3 hours of meetings, and then afterwards I'll have to tidy up proposals. These meetings were, by the way, a massive waste of time, because at that age we are like 14 to 15, right? We don't know how to manage time properly. So we just keep yapping and don't spend our time properly. By the time the meeting ends, we probably only finish 1 or 2 things. That was a massive time waster when I was in secondary 3 and 2. But in secondary 2, academics are fairly easy. But once you go into secondary 3, you can't just not study. You actually need to listen in class. You can't just not listen in class and not do your homework, which I was doing at that point in time, because in class I would probably be talking to my friends. Or sometimes I would listen, but then I wouldn't really absorb properly because I'll be too tired from the previous night of meetings. And then after school, I would be doing council stuff or CA stuff, so I wouldn't have time to do my schoolwork. It just created a huge cycle, and then it snowballs to a point where my academics are so massively behind that I just feel so much stress when I even think about it, so I just completely avoid it. That's when my grades started to fall. They started falling like shit. Simultaneously, while my grades were becoming really bad, because the workload from being in council was too much for me to handle at that point in time, because I just wanted to be really good at everything, right? So I didn't have proper prioritization. If you give me 2 things and you ask me which one do you prioritize, I would just say both of them and I'll do them so well. Because of that, I just end up not focusing on anything at all. Obviously, I don't get anything done well. During meetings, I would be daydreaming about something else, or I'll be focusing, writing minutes, and then after the meeting ends, I wouldn't do anything. I would completely be not on track with the task that I had to do in council. Council is event planning. With event planning, you always need to have the gear in your head. Oh, what's the next thing I need to do? Do I need to send this proposal? Have I thought about this? Have I thought about that? Because it's an ongoing project, right? As event planning is. But then because I had so many things on my plate, these things will keep slipping my mind. I was quite bad at my job as vice president, I would rely on my juniors to bump me on certain things, and I'll be like, shit, I completely forgot. And then that would just keep happening and happening. And then on top of that, even though I direct school admission into my CCA, I was honestly quite bad at it at dance. I just got in because of vibes. So I felt like a failure in dance, I felt like a failure in council, I felt like a failure in school. It was a really difficult point in my schooling life, because even though I set out to be wanting to be seen as somebody that was good, I didn't feel content with how I was living my life, because I felt very deeply dissatisfied with how I was doing everything. Maybe somebody far, far away from me would think, wow, she's so competent because she's doing so many things. But I knew that everybody working with me probably thought this girl is not handling her shit properly, or this girl is not suited to be vice president, or this person should just quit council and focus on her studies. Then I felt like my teachers all thought I wasn't suitable to get certain awards because of my academics or because of my performance in council. My math grade also tanked. So in Sec 2, my math was around like 70 plus. But in secondary 3, it started going down to 60. By the time I was Sec 4, I was failing math or getting borderline passes. Because I wasn't fully focusing on anything, I would just do the bare minimum for everything. And obviously everyone knows that if you're bad at math, the bare minimum for math is not enough, because I would just keep making more and more careless mistakes and keep being like, okay, I understand this, move on, without doing proper corrections. So then it just circled and circled into a much worse situation, because I was deeply unaware of the fact that my math was so bad. My math teacher at that time even told me that I shouldn't take H2 math because I wasn't the kind of person suited to take H2 math, because my thinking wasn't fast enough. He was referring to this other girl in our class, and then he was like, this girl, she can one, she's quite smart, she's a fast thinker, but you cannot one. I think you better just take H1 math. So just so you know, H1 math is not as good as H2 math. So then to me, it really, really stung, because I was like, why? What do you mean I cannot one? Like, what do you mean I cannot one? So then my perception of myself started to flip. I was like, shit, I cannot do ACADS, I cannot do council, I cannot do anything. By middle of Sec 4, I stepped down from council because my council term ended, so I finished my vice presidency term. At the time, we had some sort of award thing. So it was like distinction, merit, kind of points thing within council. And I was vice president, so I was in charge of all these nominations. And then someone nominated me for one of the merits, as the core team will go to the teacher and then be like, this is a list of people that we are recommending for this merit point. And then she looked at my name in front of everybody and she said something about how the nomination doesn't support enough reasons as to why I should be getting the merit point over somebody else, and that we need a better reasoning and that it doesn't work. And everybody else had an okay from her. So I was just like, what the heck, bro? So then get shat on by my council teacher, I get shat on by my math teacher. I don't think that way anymore. I honestly think that I just had a very big issue with my commitments, and I was overly ambitious. I had a severe lack of self-awareness, so then I thought that I could do everything, but I really couldn't. When I stepped down from being vice president in Sec 4, I felt very empty, because I put so much pride into being vice president because I have nothing else going for me. So I had a little bit of identity crisis after I stepped down from being vice president. I started Soul Love, which is a social initiative to reduce social stigma about intellectual disabilities through experiential learning with Charlotte. We launched it in Sec 4 as well. So there was a period of time where I was doing both council and Soul at the same time. Soul as co-founder, council as vice president, so that was ridiculous, and I didn't do anything well at that point in time. I spent most of the time thinking about Soul, doing Soul things, so then my grades, my council, everything just became even worse. Soul was like my baby. I was so happy with it. I put all my time into it, and everything else flopped so bad. We got over 100 volunteers across 20 different schools, from ITE, JC, Poly, secondary school. So that was quite fun. We met many different people as well. We continued working on Soul Love for about 2 years. Then afterwards, we passed it down. Through Soul Love, we made a lot of mistakes. We didn't think about our volunteers' experiences, because at that point in time, we are just 15, 16, and then we're like, we want to start this because it'll be so cool to start something cool. So that's the mindset going into this. We didn't think properly about all our volunteers. So we had quite a few complaints from volunteers because we didn't treat them well. We also had issues with quality control of the volunteers. In secondary 4, I also had my higher Chinese O-level exam. But then because I spent like the past 4 years doing fuck all but studying, I failed my higher Chinese exam. Even though I was convinced that I would at least just pass because I had always just passed. Later on, I find out that I had this one junior that is not my friend but knows of me, I guess, that went to tell a bunch of people, don't worry, there was only one senior that failed higher Chinese exams and it's Angela. So you probably won't fail. So she used me as a way to comfort other people, which was like, what the fuck, bro? I don't even know you. I don't even know how you know that. But what the fuck, bro? And then I got them pissed. So that kind of concludes my secondary school life, where I started out being all starry-eyed, being like, I want to do everything. And then it ends with me being like, I cannot do anything. And I'm just not good at anything. At the end of the day, I learned a lot from all of these experiences. They stung a lot at that point in time, but honestly, I learned quite a lot, I would say. Anyway, so that concludes my secondary school era. So then I go into junior college with my father being like, girl, your grades are not it. You cannot go to uni with this kind of grades. And I was like, okay. So then I stepped back from everything and then I started focusing on my academics. In the first few months of junior college, I really just studied and hang out with friends and studied. So I was quite consistent in junior college, I'm not gonna lie. But all of this consistency from junior college is really just because I was so freaking traumatized from my secondary school academic journey. I joined climbing as a CCA and I had a lot of fun. I really liked climbing. I also considered joining council again because some people asked me to join council. But I was like, no, I will not join council. But I really was very tempted because honestly, I just kind of craved that validation from people. I ended up running for exco in climbing. I ended up getting publicity IC. And honestly, that may be just like the best thing that ever happened to me because doing publicity, I felt very happy. I would say I'm decent at doing publicity. And I had a few videos go viral. I had one video that got 871,000 views, which is like, what? I had another 3 or 4 videos that got like 30k views. So that made me feel very happy because I'm just focusing on one thing. It's not taking up my entire life and I'm doing it well. Finally, you know? So I had something to take pride in, something to tie my identity to. I proceeded to apply for the National Young Leaders Fellowship. It's a 9-month program where you have engagements and interactions with other young leaders that are community leaders, change makers. They accept the top 30 out of 400 plus applicants. I'm pretty sure I got in because of my work in Soul Love previously. But then by then I was so burnt out and stressed out by my grades that I didn't properly socialize and I hadn't been socializing for so long already. By then, because I was focusing on my academics, so then I had such a difficult time socializing at NYLF. Yeah, so that's my secondary school, junior college life. TLDR is that I tried too many things. I went with whatever I felt like doing in the moment. I didn't prioritize properly. I just did whatever felt urgent at any point in time. And that kind of just resulted in me not doing anything properly because I didn't know how to prioritize this properly. So everything from important but not urgent just gradually moved to important and urgent. So everything became urgent. Important, urgent, not important, urgent. Everything just became urgent because I would do all the urgent things first. And while I'm doing all these urgent things, all these not urgent things slowly become urgent. So whether they're important or not, they're all just urgent. So I don't look at what's important, what's not important. I just do all the urgent things. Then literally everything suffered. I'm not saying that having many hobbies is a bad thing. I think having many hobbies is a good thing. But I'm just saying you need to prioritize properly. For example, if you wanted to go for singing lessons and you wanted to go for acting lessons and you wanted to start gymnastics, then you have to see, do I prefer school or do I prefer gymnastics? What is my priority? Every time you make a decision of what you want to do, you think about it in terms of importance. What is more important for me to get done? Not what is the most urgent for me to get done. For things that are not urgent and not important, then just don't do them. You can deal with the consequences of not doing the not important things, but you cannot deal with the consequences of not doing the important things. So just let the not important things become urgent and just let the urgent things become not done at all. and just leave it as that. I learned prioritization better and to prioritize everything on my plate. So I'm very picky with things that I choose to take on now. Don't think about what's best for your ego. Okay, recently I had my school's exco election season and I was so tempted to run for everything. And I really was going to, but then I was like, I shouldn't. I was asked to run for a bunch of stuff. And I'm pretty sure a bunch of people also asked to run for all these stuff because like they need people to run, right? Don't let people go to you and go like, you're so good, I think you're so talented, run. No, don't do that, okay? Just say, no, I have other things to do and I have to prioritize my life so that I can do what is important to me, not what makes me feel good, okay? So if you run for all of these things just because the position makes you feel good, then don't do it. Because it will make you feel like shit later on if you're ever not good at it because you don't like it. Also, in JC, I learned that it is good to struggle with things that you're not good at. Because in secondary school, I spent so much time struggling and trying to do things that I felt like I was good at. I would chase the small highs I would feel from every single thing that I was doing. By chasing this feeling of I'm good at this, for everything desirable, there's a dip before you get there because everyone wants the thing that's desirable here. And if it was easy to get, then the reward from getting it will be lower because the rewards will be spread out among a larger group of people. This dip represents the difficulties, the challenges, and the obstacles that are thrown your way as you try to achieve this. The reason why the reward at the end is so huge is because so many people give up along the way. So it's your job to not be one of those people that give up. And how do you not be one of those people that give up? It's by not signing up for so many things. Because if you sign up for so many things, you're going to choose the things that make you feel good. And then all those things that make you feel good and those things that are not difficult, everyone else can do it. And if you quit at the moment where it starts to get difficult, you're essentially just avoiding the dip for literally every single endeavor in your life. You're never going to be successful at anything. And then you're just going to end up in a situation where you're like, wait, shit, why do I suck at everything? Let me tell you why you suck at everything. It's because you are not focusing on anything. Back to my point of how it's good to do things that you're not good at. In junior college, I was really bad at academics. I struggled a lot and I really wanted to do it. It was a first in my life of struggling for a long period of time to do something that I'm not good at with not much visible returns. So there's very delayed gratification and I just need to have that blind delusion and faith that I will get better at this thing that I think that I am at the moment not very good at. I had to let go of chasing all these fancy titles and showing other people that I'm good and just gritting and bearing it and doing things that I'm not good at, but if I put in so much time, I will become good at it in the future. For this period of time, I would have no external validation because I will be doing things that are beneficial for me. I'm not chasing validation, I'm chasing what I want to achieve. So in secondary school, I thought success was all about validation, achievements, titles. I would look at all those people with fancy positions and like, whoa, because to me, like, that is true success because everybody recognizes that you are successful. After everything, I realized that chasing titles doesn't really make you happy. On contrary, it made me very miserable. I only see something as success if it's something that I really want and I'm working towards. So for example, this YouTube channel, right? At the moment you look down, the number is not above 350. Last time me wouldn't have comprehended doing something like this because I would show the world that I'm trying really hard at something and I'm not successful yet. But the now me is like, I'm trying, and I think there's a lot of merit in trying something that you may not be good at. When I look at people and they're trying very hard to do something that they may not be fantastic at and they may not have the natural talent to do, or maybe something that other people could see as cringe, to me I respect that because you are trying so hard and I believe that you can make it someday. To me, the make it someday will be success, but I also see a lot of merit and value in the journey there. Making the conscientious decision to decline everything else in order to achieve that goal is very important. In any case, if you're ambitious and you're signing up for all these things, or you're scared of being seen as cringe for doing something that is difficult for you to do, then here's my message to you, and it is to just keep trying and to be strategic about it. So don't sign up for everything. Don't rely on other people's validation for you to feel proud of what you've done, because if you do that, it's going to be a very difficult road for you because a lot of things don't come easy. Don't sign up for things if you don't think you can follow through. You need to be very intentional with the fact that you can follow through before you commit to something, because you don't want to disappoint the people that like recruited you. You don't want to disappoint yourself. You don't want to affect your mental image of yourself as well. I believe that you should always try new things, but you should try them with the correct intention. So try them even if you're scared, try them even if you think you will fail. Don't let yourself get lured away by the appeals of the fancy title. Do something that you will benefit from and you will find meaningful. At the end of the day, nobody cares. Let me tell you something. I have this YouTube channel, right, and I've had it for like the past 1.5 years, and legit nobody gives a shit. I guess maybe there are like 1 or 2 people that were like, oh, you have a YouTube channel, but nobody goes like, ew, you're so cringe. I'm rooting for you with whatever you want to do. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you find this kind of format helpful, nice to watch, because I just thought it was useful because I know my audience is mostly secondary school, junior college, maybe people my age, so I feel like this might resonate. Bye bye guys.